Hi, I'm Moira. I'm the head women's volleyball coach at Springfield College.
And I'm Jenn Najuch. I'm the women's gymnastics coach at Springfield College. Okay, so Moira, why do you coach?
Wow, why do I coach? I think I have a passion for volleyball, but more importantly, I think it's really just the relationships that I build with my players. And I really feel passionate about the fact that I want to help them grow, as students and athletes, but I mean ultimately as leaders and women. I just love to see that progression from the year of recruiting, and then ultimately, they graduate and we continue to have good connections in there, once they've graduated and move on in their professional careers, and to watch that growth is, it's just very rewarding, and I love it.
Yeah, and you've been coaching for so long. Like right before this conversation, we were talking about how you're going to people's weddings and things like that. So I can imagine, it compounds and catches up to you how much influence you have on these women. And I feel the same. Like I just had such a passion for gymnastics since such a young age, and I kind of got jumped into this position. I didn't even really really that this could be my life and that I could continue to do gymnastics. So it is super rewarding, and I can't wait to, for my alumni to come back and see me and things like that. So that's really cool to hear.
Yeah, for sure. How has your sport changed over the years, and how has your sport changed since you started coaching?
Yeah, I mean, gymnastics it always changes. At the NCAA level, we get new rules every 2 years, and at the high school level and younger, they get new rules, I think it's every 4 years. So the skills certainly change, the trends change. I think the biggest difference I've seen is more in the people, so the mental aspects and things like that. We love to do gymnastics and we love to get better, but I think at this age, and especially in the times that we're in now, mental health is so important, especially in the sport that we're in. We're doing high level skills, and if you're not mentally in the right position, it becomes dangerous. So I think that has been a new challenge in the past couple years, is really trying to accommodate the athletes a little bit more, and making them feel confident and comfortable, and make them feel like they're picking the skills that they're doing, and they're picking the routines that they're doing, so they have more confidence in it.
Right, and I think in your sport in particular, they're out there by themselves, on their own. They have the support of their team behind them, but not actually performing with them. So that has to be challenging in a mental health aspect.
Yeah, it's definitely becomes an individualized sport once you're up there on the event.
Absolutely. I think for volleyball, we've seen a lot of changes. You said earlier, I've done this a long time for sure. We went from side-out scoring, where you needed to serve in order to score, and now we're into rally scoring. There's a point for every ball that's put in play. I think, just from the rules, they're different. We have liberos, we didn't before, where you can serve from. So there's been a lot of transition from a white ball to a colored ball, right? There's just a lot of transition in the rules. I think the biggest change is probably you and the people that are participating. Volleyball has really exploded. There are a lot more participants than there have ever been. But I think they're faster, they're stronger, they jump higher for, just with the growth and development of, sport in terms of strength and conditioning and whatnot. So there's been more of an emphasis in that. And I think also, sport specialization. There's so many that only play one sport. I wish that wasn't the case. I wish a lot of my athletes played more than one, and many do, but continued for those 4 years in high school, because the opportunity to learn from different experiences, I think, is really important. So those are definitely some of the changes we've had.
Yeah, that makes sense. My turn. As a woman in coaching, and you also have the responsibilities that comes with being a mother. Talk about the importance of modeling this lifestyle for your assistant coaches and your student athletes, and what that balancing act is like.
Yeah, I think it was funny, we were just having this conversation earlier. I think first and foremost, you have to have a supportive partner, or a supportive support system, with family or what have you. I've been very fortunate that my husband takes on a lot of the responsibilities at home when I'm in season. They always say, they joke, we kiss you goodbye in August and we kiss you hello at Thanksgiving. He's, cooking every meal and doing every pickup, and, if the kids are sick, he was staying home. And then, when volleyball ended, we would transition and I would do a lot more of those things. I think it's really important to be able to model for your assistants and for your players that they can have it all. It doesn't mean it's easy. It's hard. It's really hard and it's exhausting. But I think, you can go to work and be committed to your job and be successful and still be a good parent. I think it comes down to the fact that we established those things early. My kids knew that just because I wasn't at their soccer game, it didn't mean I didn't love them, right? Dad would be there or mom would be there when she could, but I was always really present, maybe not as much in the fall, but outside of my fall. The summer, I have summers off. I mean, my summer was time with my kids. That's 3 solid months, and by the time August came around, I was ready to go back to work.
Yeah, I believe that.
But I think it comes down to allowing yourself to have it all and not feeling, I think women feel guilty a lot, but not feeling guilty about the fact that this is important to me. And I think modeling that to my players and to my family, and that, again, if you work hard, you can have things that are important to you, and you can be successful.
Yeah, and I'm getting emotional right now because your children are grown, yes. But I have a 6-month-old at home, so my partner and I are in the midst of figuring that out, and it's very hard, and I cry at the sight of his name, so it's a lot, but you're right, being able to model it for my assistants and being able to model it for my athletes, and showing them that there is such thing as a work-life balance and a school-life balance, and it's just as important to study until you need to, but it's also important to take a day off and not think about sport or not think about school, and be with the people that you love, whether it's friends or family. So it's been interesting navigating that for sure.
I think it just comes down to I could say I had the most supportive partner. It probably didn't start that way, right? We definitely had to figure it out together. And I think we say all the time in our program, communication is the foundation of any relationship. And it was just communicating, this is what I need at this point, and this is, him saying what he needed at that point, and ultimately, trying to build it together for the betterment of our children. And so they always felt supported. And I think, right, like you said, you're in the beginning of it, and it's probably had its challenges and its struggles, but if you continue to work at it, it gets there, and you do get to the point where, I have a junior in college, and I have a senior in high school, and hopefully they're good members of society, and we've done a good job. And I think, I definitely credit my husband so much for allowing me to do that.
Yeah, and I think the challenges of working through a relationship like that and working through a new family can translate so well to sport, to be able to have those difficult conversations and be transparent and say this is an issue and I'm not mad at you, but it needs to change moving forward. We have those conversations daily in the gym, just talking about how to be a good teammate for each other, when the mat needs to be moved, and I think bringing those experiences into the team of being able to take the emotion out of conversations and just solve the problem together has been eye-opening for me too.
Absolutely. What's your favorite part of coaching?
Oh man, well you kind of touched on it earlier, but just obviously I love gymnastics and I love coaching gymnastics, but I think what I found in this role that I love is kind of just managing a whole group of people. So this group needs this or this group needs this, and just kind of learning everyone's individual quirks and things like that to try to make the experience the best for everyone. And so finding ways to compromise with the team, and I don't know, just kind of making it so that I like the behind the scenes work that makes it easy to just go into the gym and do gymnastics and they don't have to worry about anything else. It's just been a fun challenge, I think.
Yeah, I think for me, there's so many parts of it. I love the competition. I love to win. I love to put our players in a position to be successful. And that doesn't, I say we love to win. It doesn't always have to be about the winning, but the success that you see in coaching. One of my favorite things is volleyball is that point ends and their hands go up and they're like celebrating. To watch that development, and it could be skill development, it could be emotional development, right? There's so many ways that they develop. And I think one of my favorite parts also is, you said, a little bit, it's developing that culture. This culture that we have within our program where it is about the people and it is about the connections and it is about our communication and how those things then influence how we are on the court and how we represent Springfield College. I think building that culture and maintaining that culture is definitely one of the things that I love. And ultimately it's about the people. I just got a text this morning from a former player, and she saw that we were going recruiting. She's like, I can't wait to see what players you bring in. It's so exciting. And they, those alums leave and they continue to be excited for Springfield College women's volleyball and our institution because of the connections that we've built. So those things are just so incredibly rewarding, and I can't imagine doing anything else.
Yeah, I feel that too, like especially the most recent alumni and the ones that have gone through the pandemic and things like that. Like when we post videos on social media and stuff, they message us or text us like, I can't believe people are twisting on vault or doing this, you guys look so great. And I think that's like such a cool thing with gymnastics is like we obviously love to get those high scores and be our Division III schools and stuff like that, but gymnastics is such an art form too, where it's so exciting when like women come into the gym wanting to do a different skill or a different combination and like watching them try to figure it out and fall and get like upset and frustrated, but then flip the switch and try different things to get the skill, and then seeing it come on the competition floor and they finish and like you said, hands are up and they're hugging each other. Like it's such a rewarding experience from a coach's perspective to like look at it from the outside, and being a part of it as an athlete too, like it all comes back, right? So being able to organize that and get the team excited for those moments is really cool.
Yeah, I think it's that mentality of like never being satisfied, and that's what we try to build in our culture. And then what's really cool is when our alums come back, they're very critical of how things look and how we're performing,
yes.
But they're still never satisfied because they want more for those women. We talk a lot about legacy and those who came before us, and I think that just continues. That culture begins in the recruiting process, and this is what we're going to do, but then it just continues even as they, obviously mature and build their own families, but they come back and they watch and they're like, hey coach, I saw this. Yeah. Okay, we'll work on it. I got you.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny because like we get that all the time too, and it like I love the commitment and the passion,
yes.
But then it's also like you're not in the gym, so like we are trying that, I swear, but it'll come. But yes. It is cool that they stay involved, and then I think it's motivating for the current student
yes.
athletes too, because there's that senior on the team that like knows her senior when she was a first year is coming to the meet and wants to impress her and have that moment after the meet. So that right. Continued legacy is so important.
Definitely. Those connections just are really special. And I think it's, what makes Springfield College really special.
Yeah, for sure.